Now that we've done an exploded view and assembled our cube together, we're going to create a falls title block, and you're going to fill in all this information. I'm not going to do it now, but you will. And what we want to do is show our exploded view and our assembled view of this cube. So I'm going to click base, and I'm going to choose, this window will pop up, I'm just going to move it to the side so I can see my page. I'm going to choose my assembly that I've just created. If you don't see, if files of type, if only IPT is selected or something like that, just make sure that you go files of type inventor files, and then you'll see everything that you can possibly do. And so what we want to do is search for our, this is the one I saved, assembly cube 3, the one that we saved in the video. This is of my pieces that are all exploded out from one another. So I'm going to click open. And when you look right here, you see that I'm looking at it from the front, because front is selected. So what I want to do is actually choose ISO top right. And that's how we viewed it when we created it. But this is going to take up pretty much the entire page, so I don't want to place it yet. What I want to do is change the scale. If you click here, you can see that different scales are available, and 1/4 is the lowest that is on the default. I actually created this 2/3 myself, but if you look at half view, you get this smaller version. But I did create a 2/3 view. All you have to do is highlight the text and put 2 divided by 3, and you get it in 2/3 of its size, and that's the size that we want to go for. And I'm going to click, and I want to leave enough space so that there's area around all the cubes. So leave some buffer zone around the cubes. So I'm going to click right about there, and I'm going to right click and go to done. And there are our cubes, but it's kind of hard to tell where one begins and one ends. So I'm going to right click this and go to edit view, and I'm going to turn on shading, and now I'm going to see all the coloring on my cubes. Alright, and the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go to base again, and I'm going to click on my browse for file, and I'm going to find my cube that's been assembled so that it's all together. And I'm going to click open. And we're seeing this from the front again. I want to see it from ISO top right, and there we go. And if I look right here, it's at 2/3, and that's fine. That's exactly where we want it. And I'm going to put it off to the side here. Alright, right click, go to done. Again, not shaded. We can choose shaded before we place it, and that's fine, but if you don't do the shading, you can always right click on it and go to edit view, and we'll turn on the shading, click OK. So now we've got our cubes placed. Now we want to annotate it. So I'm going to go to annotate, and we're not going to dimension it this time, we're going to add balloons. And if I click on balloon and I come up to one of my pieces, it's going to highlight as my mouse gets close to it. Once it highlights, I can click, and it's going to ask me what file I'm referencing, and it's my assembly cube 2, this one. So I'm going to click OK. Do I wish to enable? OK. And so there's my balloon. I'm going to click right there and click, double click to get the balloon to stay in one place. And you'll see that there's a 3 here. That's because it's the 3rd piece that I assembled into the cube. So don't worry if this is if this says 3, it may not say number 1. Now I'm going to come up until my red piece gets highlighted. I'm going to click, pull my balloon out, double click, and now I've got this balloon out here. But if you notice, this line and this line are not parallel, and that is not what we want to do. I'm going to right click and go to done, and I'm going to take my green, I'm going to take this balloon, and I'm going to make sure that it's parallel with that line, and it will actually want to line up with the other balloon, if you see. And so make sure that these balloons have parallel lines. I'm going to go back to my balloon, get my yellow piece, bring it out to here, double click. My black piece, I'm going to click here and bring it out to there, and my blue piece to here. Now you'll notice I made these two parallel because they were close to being parallel, but if you're going to go out to the side, it's okay if these ones aren't parallel because they're not going in the same direction at all. So now I've got my 5 parts labeled. The last thing I want to do is create a parts list. So I'm going to click on parts list, and I'm going to select the document that I want to reference, and it just so happens it's right here in the drop down. But if it wasn't, you could go to browse, and what we want to do is reference our assembly cube IAM. But mine is right here, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to click OK. And here's my parts list. You can see a box that's going to be created. And I'm going to put this until it locks right into the corner here of my document right there. So you see that we have item 1 through 5, quantity is 1 of each, and the part number is what I've labeled them, or what I've named them as the file. What I want to do is come over here to my parts list and right click it and go to edit parts list, and I want to do a description here. So my blue piece consists of 5 cubes, 5 individual cubes, and so in the description I'm going to put 5 cubes. And my black piece, if I count, there are 6, so I'm going to click here and put 6 cubes. And so on and so forth. My brown one is 5 cubes. My red is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes. And my yellow is 5 cubes. So I'm going to put 5 cubes. I'm going to click apply, and I'm going to see all those new descriptions pop up. Click OK. And once you have this parts list, you ballooned your exploded view and you show the assembled view, you are all complete. You need to make sure that all this is filled in. I didn't fill it in on mine, but you will fill it in on yours. And that is how you annotate an exploded view with balloons.